Okay. Game Player episode 66. Hey, the devil sign. Yeah, we're gonna have some rant. We're gonna absolutely rant. At least
Oh,
me and an eight.
we are one in the wrong channel though, by the way. So
Oh,
people
give me
can't
a
see
second.
us.
Let me.
I moved before everybody else. There you go, man. I fixed it already.
All right.
Now we're in the right channel. If Omar didn't like disappear.
I can see him, but can't hear him.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna move everybody," and then I moved, and then like, it's like he disconnected from the world.
He left and came back.
Are you good? Yeah, I think he's lagging or something because he doesn't seem to be able to hear us.
I can't. You can't hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, then we're good.
Okay. So yeah, Game Player episode 66. Expect a rant of for me and an eight when it comes to this whole Final Fantasy situation. Cause yeah, some of the shit that I've been seeing on Twitter, I'm like, it's okay to love it, but to go out of your way to say stuff like this, I'm like, yeah, no, bye. But before that, let's get to our intros. And I'm actually gonna start first. Um, Hogwarts, look, I'm loving it. It's just dog shit when it comes to boss fight. It not only what remodeling using the same model or whatsoever, mm, it it sucks. I really wish at least had a different bosses. Like I'm at the second trial and it's literally the same boss from the first trial. Same move, same everything. I'm like, can you at least do something different? And I think that's about it when it comes to Hogwarts. I so quick thing. I bought Forspoken 3 weeks ago. I bought it from a website called Marketplace. Uh, it's kind of like eBay. I bought it secondhand. Um, we here have an app where you can see where your mail is on the road and stuff like that, or when you're expecting your mail and stuff like that. And it told me that it's coming Friday. That's 3 weeks ago. Till today, I have yet to get the game, and I am pretty sure I'm screwed, and I lost 30 euro, 35 euro because of it. Because the mail company is not gonna do anything about it. The web shop company is absolutely not gonna do anything about it. So yeah, I'm disappointed and sad and mad and all that shit combined. And
Dude, did the mail company confirm that they actually received the package and they were
so basically, post Pentanel, I have it on my app. It said that the package I was about to receive was gonna be coming Friday. That's 3 weeks ago. After it, uh, I got every single mail since then except for the package. The package never arrived, and I called
yeah.
them, and they have no idea what's going on with it, where it is, and stuff like
Okay.
that. They said they're gonna make it a priority, so I'm gonna call. Tuesday and see what's up again. But I am expecting for them to pay me uh you're out of luck, and that's it. Cause yeah, cause here's the thing, I can't blame it on the guy that sent it on Marketplace because it's already shown up on my phone app. So it just mean he already delivered it. But
Well, technically, he's still responsible, so you could tell him,
no,
dude.
he's not. He's not responsible because he already got the money and he sent the product. So it's
Yeah,
on my end.
as a seller, you're still responsible for shipping it. So if
Yeah, sadly,
they need to figure that out with them. It's not your
sadly,
responsibility.
I wish that's how the case. But come on, you know Marketplace.
That's definitely the difference here for eBay, because I had a seller who even says like no return policy, but the item they sent me was fake, and eBay immediately was like, "Yeah, send it back," and
Yeah,
gave me my money back. So
there
yeah,
is. Yeah, so there was even something called
protection,
where
like buy protection.
it no, 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 no. There is something called a protection, but that's only for 7 days. And the problem is when he sent it, there was almost like a delay when it comes to the games, when it comes to the shipment, because of something called Carnival, which is basically almost like what you call it?
Like Mardi Gras.
Yeah, just an event. Let's call it an event. I forgot what it is. And because of that, I waited, and now I'm out of luck. I'm truly out of luck. The only thing I'm gonna be able to, because that website it doesn't have any real people I can connect with. It's just automated. So yeah, that's about it. Weeb, how are you, man? And how is Ishan?
Asian is great, man. I'm absolutely loving it. Been playing it nonstop this week, and like usual, I'm veering off the main path and just playing every side mission and mini game I can find because it's a Yakuza game basically. So that's what you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed. Yeah, I mean, I really like the shift in the setting. I mean, of course, it's a remake of a PS4 game, but still glad that we finally get a localized version of it. And I really like, the sort of change of pace. Basically, it's still at its core, Yakuza game, but you have different fighting styles. You can now use your sword or a gun, since gunpowder was a thing back then. But it's not. It's pretty fun having these different styles where you can, use your sword more than in previous games where it was just a weapon that you could optionally equip, and here it's one of your main attacks, and you can have like a dual wield style where you have both a gun and a sword, and you sort of sword dance around, which is pretty cool. Um, yeah, I mean, I like it's yeah. I mean, you know you're an anime fan, so you probably know the Bakumatsu era. The sort of civil war era in Japan. Um,
Mm-hmm.
18th century, no, 90, end of the 19th century, I think, 19th century. But yeah,
Nobunaga.
no later with the Shinsengumi.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you're basically, or yeah, basically all the characters in of the Yakuza games, they're play historical characters, and you're so Kiryu is actually Sakamoto Ryoma, uh, but the twist here is that he actually survived the assassination that historically happens, and he's now basically assuming the name of one of the Shinsengumi Saito, which you probably know, which is pretty cool that they sort of did that, because now you don't really know, even though I know the history, you don't really know what's going to happen here, because they sort of playing with that. Um, yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. So I don't really know what the plot's going to be, but of course, knowing this Yakuza game is going to be crazy. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far.
So
Spent
you
a lot.
own the original one, eh? How
I
is it any different from the new one?
I can't really tell because I didn't play that one yet, because I ordered
Mm.
it because it's only in Japanese. So when I ordered that one, they just announced that the remake was coming. So I figured, well, instead of trying to play that with a walkthrough that translates it for me, I decided to
Mm.
wait for this one. I
I
do
was about to
understand.
ask you how are you ever gonna play it, but you answered it yourself.
Well, technically not now, considering that when I finish this game, I probably could play that one.
Mm.
Since I know the story and the mechanics. Though I understand there are a few differences. There's some characters that are different because they replace some of the characters with actors, from later games. Um, and I think they made the original was a bit more grindy with the completion lists, and they changed that. But in turn, the crafting gameplay is more grindy. And I think they censored a few things, because there was a fight scene in a Japanese bathhouse, and they added a lot of steam there. Apparently, a couple of guys grabbing each other's butt to sumo wrestle was a bit too raunchy for them, or for the West. I don't know. Um, so yeah, unfortunately, we don't get to see Kiryu, aka Ryoma's butt cheeks, this time around. But I have the original game for that, so no worries. Um, but other than that, yeah, I think it's fairly, um, you know, similar, except I think they changed the engine to the Unreal Engine. Though I haven't really noticed any differences there, at least compared to the Dragon engine. But I don't know, maybe when I play the original version, I may notice some more differences there. But other than that, it's really fun. It's nice to finally sort of sell on a game to play, and I'm probably gonna be busy with that for a couple of weeks because there's so much shit to do in these games. So yeah, that's about it.
Got. And Nate, thank you again for the hosting. And how are you, man?
Uh, no, I'm good, man. Yeah, just I don't know, juggling a bunch of games, but mainly right now, heavily into Octopath Traveler 2, um, which has just been a phenomenal experience. Um, they managed to keep the game grounded in a lot of the things that I really loved about it, and just improve everything else in every way possible. Um, Adding a couple layers of depth to the combat, layers to the stories and the character development, including some of the quests that specifically target multiples of the characters going on quests together and kind of interacting a lot more, which a lot of people like a lot better because before, they were kind of individualistic too much without much interaction. So, um, yeah, I mean, I've been having a ball with that, playing through uh, with Morgan since we both started it at the same time, and just been having a blast with that. Um,
Are you playing the same type of character and stuff like that, or is it different?
no, so she chose the scholar to start with, and I chose Hikari the warrior.
Mm-hmm.
So we do now all have like we have all the characters available to us now though, so you can kind of make your thing, make your choice. But the key is whoever you pick to start with is locked in that first slot until you beat their story. So I actually heavily focused on finally beating Hikari's story, which was actually pretty damn tough. I'm not gonna lie, like the difficulty spike from the third to the
Yeah,
last
I
mission
heard.
is massive. Like like he was doing all kinds of debuffs. He would like I was just like, what am I supposed to do? Um, so yeah, it definitely gets back up to the original OG like difficulty, where some of these characters, they get 3 turns in a row. They start debuffing the brakes off of you. Every swing, every time
Mm.
they hit you, they hit your whole team. Like you gotta be like, like I made it comfortably. Like don't get me wrong. Like sometimes, like I definitely had some characters that died during the final mission, for Hikari. Um, but I was able to revive them in time and get everybody healed back up. Like my characters were far in excess above the requirement level, and
Mm.
I thankfully I had some pretty decent gear, but I mean he was still beating the brakes off my team. So it definitely takes some finesse and having the right combination of job classes and stuff to really dominate the later stages of the game. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I mean it's a challenge for people who want that challenge. But yeah, like I said, thoroughly enjoying that. Um, and then still finishing up Fire Emblem. I kind of like lean back on that for a minute though, because I didn't realize the third wave of the DLC was coming so soon. It actually comes on the 7th. So I was like, well, in as much as I haven't finished getting all the second, um, going through the stages to get them, I was like, I might as well wait and just get all of them. Um, so that I can have a huge selection of preferred emblems on my team from the DLC and whatnot. So waiting on that to jump back into that, and then I started Dio Field in the meantime. Um,
Mm. Let's go.
yeah, so that's been quite fun so far. I'm having some. I mean, I anticipated having fun with that in the first place. So yeah,
Who's your main?
I mean, I'm definitely a ninja person, so I like the assassin so far.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
me and Viper, we already know when comes to that assassin. He assassinates.
yeah. He's a beast. So
He is, he is, he
And
is, he is.
yeah, yeah. So
you should stick
mhm.
with him.
You said what we?
You should stick with him. Yeah, there are a couple of characters that are absolutely preferred team up, and I think that he's one of them. And I think couple you need to get still if you're still early at least.
Yeah.
Between
I'm still really
him,
early.
between him and the mage, I love both.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Um,
definitely gonna do some experimenting once I start gathering some
yeah.
people. I just got past getting the archer on my team again and stuff like that. So I'm not very far at all. Like I said, I started it today. So um, but yeah, I mean, it's been great so far. I think that's about it. I mean, I'm playing other stuff, but like barely. Like it's. I'm just trying to finish stuff. Like and I recently finished Octopath Traveler, so I did finish that finally
Mm-hmm.
fully.
What?
Which is to say it a lot. That means all 8 characters and the alternate ending. So, because a
Mm.
lot of people are like, "Oh, I beat it," and like, nah, you really didn't. That you gotta beat all 8 characters and the alternate ending. So yeah, I did the complete full playthrough, and I did end up beating that, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So what about what you call it? Oh, oh yeah, I remember.
What?
Of that Gundam game. Are you still getting it, or that's in the back on the back burner now?
I mean, honestly, I could just try it via Game Pass if I really wanted to. That would be where that
Mm-hmm.
would take place. I definitely wouldn't buy it right now, because by the time I have time to play it, it'll be $5.99.
No, we don't use a G word here. We're family friendly.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, but it's I
Yeah,
mean
we
it's
will.
realistically not even gonna get played via there because bear in mind comes the thing that I say is always funny when people talk about having that and a billion games to play. It's time. And I'm like, look, I don't care if you got all day and night to play. You gotta sleep at some point. You gotta eat at some point. You got
Wait, people
responsibilities at some
sleep?
point. Yeah, you would think some people don't. You know.
I
No,
don't.
people do the money.
Yeah.
I had no idea people sleep. But okay, okay, okay. I got you. I got you.
There's
Um,
I have more games in my backlog than there are in Game Pass.
Well, yes, I mean, yeah. If people like, I saw that there was a discussion on that earlier, and I was like, look, I mean, if you want to be realistic, like this is the reason my backlog is separated into must play, and then there's the rest of it. The rest of it, I don't even count anymore. But yeah, you're right. My backlog, if I counted all of it, yeah, it would exceed Game Pass numbers. So yeah,
yeah, for sure, for sure.
yep,
We play games. We don't
facts,
just talk about them.
facts.
You know it is. Viper, my man. Are you a
Mhm.
ninja or are you here?
No, I'm here. I'm kind of ninja. I was in the I'm working out. I got like 5 minutes left on it. But I got to do this regimen. But the games that man, I played
Dude.
between now and I think I played so many games. Like I abandoned Valkyrie Elysium. That was the game I had started playing after platinuming the first time.
Mm,
Um, So that one's in the backlog, probably lost forever. Hogwarts Legacy Forspoken, I dabbled in about 5 to 7 hours of each.
mm-hmm.
Uh, I enjoyed both of them. I'm going to play both of them eventually, but then VR came, and so I immediately hit up GT7. Amazing. Oh my God. The first thing I did was get in the car and look behind me, and you can see the engine in the back seat. I was like, oh shit. This is some I've never seen this before. Um,
Mm-hmm.
other I was playing P3P for quite a bit. Uh, I had a little bit of a health scare, and I had to abandon games for like a week and a half. But then once I got back to it, I started back on Last of Us Part One. I'm sorry, I got to the sewage part where I'm supposed in the dark. I'm not finishing it. I'm done. That's it. That's the same part that scared me the last time I played the game, and I got through it. Now
Oh
that I know what's
man.
coming, I'm like, nope, that's it.
Ah,
I
damn. But The
love the
Last of Us,
reaction though. Like just nope, that's it. Nope. Mm-mm.
but The
So
Last of Us is not even a scary game, though.
none no, but the first time I played it back in 2012 or 13, I can't remember. When I went to rev up the that generator, and I went to step out and fucking blowed her in my face. No, I know it's
Okay,
coming.
okay, okay.
I might
So,
get back to it, but I won't. I probably won't.
But
What's
Viper, you've the VR too, right? Or not?
no.
Oh,
no,
you
not
not.
on.
Okay.
Hell no.
Yeah. I saw a video from PlayStation UK where the guy was playing Resident Evil in VR, and then that got to that part where he got eaten by that
The
baby
baby.
monster or whatever. Yeah. He was screaming his ass off. That's hilarious.
Hmm.
Um,
Um,
other
You
go
would
ahead.
probably die if you play that.
can you skip and talk about the game that I actually want you to talk about, the one that is legendary?
Ooh.
What? Uh,
Now I'm talking to Viper because he is playing a game I truly, truly,
oh,
truly
oh, oh!
love.
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. Deliver Us the Moon. I was able to platinum that real quick with a little bit of help from Morgan.
Nice.
Um, and then I played some other VR games like Altair Breaker. That was actually pretty fun. I got a little motion sickness off that when I had to take it off though. After that, and now I'm in the middle of a game called Indivisible.
Let's
Ah,
fucking go. That's all I
This
need to hear.
I
this
know
game
this one. I didn't finish it.
this game here. So I didn't know what to play. I ran into Gamer's Block where I was like, okay, I want to do Forspoken, I want to do Hogwarts, but I don't want to jump into a big game yet. I want to do a small one, 20, 30 hour game. And this one popped up in my list, and I was like, all right, let me go ahead and try this one out. Holy shit! I actually enjoy the fuck out of the combat in this game. It's like half
Yeah.
turn based, half action. I can dig it. Um, the graphics is pretty solid. I like the story so far. It's kind of like the normal something happened to me. I don't remember anything. Kind of regain my memories, but um, it's a fun game so far. I do plan on platinum in that one, but yeah, that's pretty much
If
all the
you
games.
if you do want, then be sure to pick up every single character. I
Oh
think it
yeah,
have a trophy about that,
you,
and
you
I
know I did.
missed one.
I did my research already. So yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah. On that end, yeah,
there are eight. There are like eight. There's a ton of fucking characters in the game. It's like
yeah,
20.
yeah.
So
There is shit ton of characters. I missed the gunslinger. I have no idea how I missed them, but I did. And be aware though, this game is massive. Like it's big, big.
and
Yeah.
I like how they how I like how the main area is a 2D like side scroller platinum and joint, and then it turns into a turn based half action, half action, and it gives you a mixture of different things when you play it. It almost looks like a Metroid type level where you go up and down climbing shit, and then when you get certain powers, you can come back and get shit that you missed later. So
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, that one's been on
my
my list for
question.
a while, so I feel you.
Yeah,
It always looked really good.
I recommend it. I like to
I,
everyone.
I,
I'm
I own
pretty
it. I
sure
own
most.
it already, so it's definitely happening.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
most people here own it or already played it. Like this is a game is truly one of the best experience I've ever played. When it comes to story, great story. When it comes to voice, I forgot to have voice acting or not. This one I actually played on my laptop, the good one, before that, before it broke, and yeah, it's between this game and Oninaki. Uh, both games need to be experienced, and
hmm
I recommend both games. Um, anything else you're playing, or that's about it?
that's it. That's it. I've been dipping
Okay.
and dabbling. I've been dipping and dabbling and in and out of some games. Like I'd start one and I'm like, nah. Like I started Octopath Traveler. I saw it within like the first 3 minutes. I was like, nah, not right now. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and so I was just sifting through games. Like I said, I had Gamer's Block. I didn't know what I wanted to play till I came across this one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, before we start, let's give a shout out to a few people in chat. That's about it.
Hey, Chris, you made
Very
it.
simple. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that in a second. What's up, man? And Nate, as always, holding it down. Stardust, what's up, man? Sorry about your parrot. Not your parrot. I forgot what it was. It's a bird pet. It, yeah. Sorry about that one. Lady Toast. I like the content. I don't want just guys to get myself, but I do love how different you are, especially with biking and gaming. Like you, you got some nice way of being different, and I like that. And you're funny. You're entertaining as fuck on Twitter.
Chris is definitely
So
funny.
shout out to you, Christo. It is Christo. Yeah, she is funny when it comes to the whole toast thing. Oh yeah, I know. Of course, being a mom, that's. Oh, oh yeah. As for how you can stop buying games, simple. Give them away. It's simple. Give your money away, and you no longer need to have any issue buying games. I'm okay with you. Let's get to the first topic. Um, so can someone explain to me what the fuck happened with Lumen Studio?
You're talking about
Something,
the. You mean getting
yeah,
it reabsorbed?
yeah, so I'm talking, yeah. Some things that's a good thing, other things that's a bad thing. As you know, I play games, I don't know about the industry, so can anyone
I
explain?
I, I mean it's for the studio. I think it's quite clear signal that they're probably disappointed with Forspoken, either the reception or the sales or both, and they decide, well, I mean, you no longer are going to be an independent studio. We're going to reabsorb you. So for the studio, it's bad. I guess it's good for the employees that they at least retain their jobs, but I suppose they will have less autonomy now. They can't really just make a game on their own now. They have to work on projects set by the company.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
they basically just tried him out as a separated studio, a more individualistic studio.
and they're not happy with the result.
Yeah, and they weren't feeling the results, so bring him back in, reinforce other teams, get some projects out the door, and go from there. That's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
They're also
Interesting.
overzealous with their expectations of how things are supposed to, about what's successful and what isn't.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Can you repeat what you said, Viper?
They're overzealous about the amount of sales that they were going to get. Like they overshot. They expected one thing and got way less, and think it's so.
Okay,
Which
gotcha,
Square
gotcha,
Square is
gotcha.
famous for the record, because
But
Square thought Tomb Raider was gonna do 20 million.
yeah, I was about to say that. That's literally Square fault then.
Absolutely. They have no idea how to gauge expectations as far as sales go.
Yeah, Square have always have a bad habit of knowing, not knowing, but uh, setting the standard, and then when they eat shit, they're like, "Why did we eat shit? We're awesome. We're Square."
Always.
Nah, here's a company that turned Final Fantasy into an action. We're gonna talk about that, cause nah, yeah, um. So, Forspoken, I played the demo. I loved the demo. I got addicted to the demo, and I just said, went on a rant how I lost money because I bought the game. I'm the Forspoken if my game ever come through. Otherwise, they're gonna go on a back burner for a long period of time. I do recommend Forspoken though, especially if you one there's a demo, so you can try it out yourself. Two, if you're a fan of what we call it, isekai anime or manga in general, you're gonna absolutely dig Forspoken. And from the bits that I have seen, she actually gets developed, and I wish I can experience that. Cause yeah, the whole thing when it comes to the cringe dialogue, like nah, she 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 have some later dialogue where you're like, damn, that's some nice contrast. Um, anyone have anything else to say about this one?
No, all good. It
Oh,
wasn't. It's not really
okay.
complicated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not.
AutoNation.
Hey,
Okay.
hey, how are you, lady? What you been gaming?
I'm still playing Hogwarts. But
Like
I am
me?
excited about Resident Evil 4 remake coming out this month.
Mm-hmm. How far are you in Hogwarts?
Like, I don't know, almost
Which
halfway.
which trial are you on?
The Merlin trials?
Yeah, no. The main story trial where you need to do
Oh,
4 or 5, I think.
She might have been
I'm
doing a
not
bunch of.
sure. I'd have to go back and look at it
She
again.
might have been doing a bunch of extra content. K is a side quest girl, so.
Yeah, I've been doing every single side quest. Where is that side quest for the PlayStation quest? Where is that?
You need to get further in the story.
So
You need to have done like I think either the second or third trial.
okay, I
And
am at the second trial.
yeah,
I've been doing almost every single side quest, my side quest, except for the time-consuming one, which is finding every single moon, or what you call it,
yeah, that's what's
the
pretty
coin.
much last for me. But you will need to you need to go ahead and follow a guide as soon as possible for the moons, because once you do unlock that quest to get Aloha Mora,
Yeah,
and
I have
then
second one already.
yeah, I would just honestly go ahead and go for the rest of it for Aloha Mora 3, because the amount of annoyance I had when I ran
Yeah.
into things that were a tier 3 lock, and like I'm probably never coming back here unless
Mm,
there's something in here that's part of the collection. And for the most
mm-hmm.
part, they don't hide stuff like that, but it's just so much easier to not have to come back to a tier 3 door and just unlock it when you get to it. So eventually I just went for it
Fair.
because there's a point when you have to go to the top of the school and you need it in order to get all the way to the top of the school, and I was like,
Mm.
ugh, frustrated.
So when it comes to this whole puzzle with the button and stuff like that, is that something you get explained later, or is that something you need to figure on your own? With the what do you call it? With the animal pictures, where you need
It's
and you it,
we all just had the guide because the guide is literally in the ceiling of, it's like in the attic of Hogwarts, but like you could just look it up. We just shared it in chat. I just
okay.
I just gave it to everybody that's playing, because again, that's something where you don't want to go back and have to find all those. Like, you want to
Yeah.
kind of do them as you come across them. So just remind me and I'll give it to you. I'll probably give it to you here in a minute, but most likely after the show.
Okay.
Gonna
Yeah.
get them real good.
Yeah.
So and one thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's about it. Then the second thing would be what you call it from Square Enix, which we're gonna stick with Square.
Hmm.
One of their main is actually gone. What's his name?
You mean their president?
Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. So Yosuke Matsuda will no longer be president of Square Enix.
Yep.
Takashi Ki- Kiryu will take the role pending
Ooh,
approval of the next annual shareholder meeting. What's
Beyond
up?
Diamond.
So
Gotcha.
with him leaving, two things. One, he was gone hauling for NFT. He is no longer there. Bye.
Yeah.
So no
un-
longer
un-
NFT situation.
No, no, no. Unfortunately, his successor is also into NFT, so and no dice
Oh
zone.
damn.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I
there
was
is
gonna say I
that.
didn't get ahead of myself because I was like, I don't know about the next guy yet.
Okay. So there is that. Okay, the other one would be are they gearing up for being acquired?
I mean, potentially, but I mean, no one's gonna really know that. Could just be a changing of the guard. We won't know until we get something more substantial. Right now, people are just
Yeah.
guessing. So yeah.
The the
Uh,
the hard take is they just hired someone similar to um God damn, I can't remember the why can't I remember his name?
I don't
Forget it.
know what you're
I'm
talking
talking about
about.
someone that like
So
manages personnel or something.
It's not Jim Ryan. It's for the Xbox.
Phil
Matt
Spencer.
Booty.
So yeah, at worst they hired a Phil Spencer, somebody who's going to make the company worse.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, but
okay.
that's the worst case scenario.
The
Yeah.
worst case scenario is them fucking up their IPs, which we're gonna talk about 16.
Phil Spencer.
Cause
Well, the scary
I mean,
part right now, like a lot of people mentioned, is, I mean, and obviously one person doesn't just destroy the structure immediately. I mean, he is the president, but I mean, and obviously there's a bunch of stuff in the works already, but the the concern from some people is like, Square's been doing so good with their projects outside of their mainline franchises. You know, like
But their
Octopath.
mainline sucks.
Yeah,
Sadly.
the mainline's been struggling for a while in a lot of stuff. So, um, but the concern for some people is like, hopefully they don't pull back. You know, with the changing of the guard
Mm.
and stop these smaller projects because this is what people have been loving from them. You know,
Yeah.
bringing back some of their older IPs, you know, with the help of Nintendo with Live a Live, and then you know Team Asano with you know Octopath Traveler 1 and 2, and also Triangle Strategy, and just uh, like it's
Diofield
yeah, Diofield, like they've just been killing it. You know, like like everything else.
and
It's just
Tactic Ogre.
yeah,
Tactic
Tactics
Ogre
Ogre
is
came
also
back
one.
and they left that pretty pure. You know, to some people's dismay, but you know, it looks great. So, and they didn't screw that up. So I'm just like, there's everything else is good. So it's just like, just don't mess it up. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
what everybody's on right now. Now, obviously, you know, we have their
So,
main line coming up soon, but you know, like you said, we're gonna get to that.
okay, I have a question for you. You said he is just one guy. He's still the president, but one guy is not that enough to destroy a company. Have
Well,
you
no,
heard
well,
a
no.
guy by the name of Phil Spencer?
So not that he
Yes.
can't, not that he can't, not that he can't, right? I'm saying he can't do that in a short time. Like he's not gonna show up
Again,
and
have you
like
met a
cancel a
guy
bunch of
by the
stuff.
name of Phil Spencer? He says hi.
Man, according to Xbox fans, Phil is God's gift to humanity, and they all want to marry that man and his whole
Okay,
regime. So you
okay.
know, hey, look, I couldn't tell you. Apparently, you know, you talk smooth enough, deliver nothing, and you know they love you for
Mm,
it.
It also depends on what
I,
Crystal.
I would endorse Xbox if he became my sugar daddy.
Okay.
it,
Crystal,
it
there
also
is
depends
actually
on
go
it
ahead.
also it also depends on what your definition of short time frame is. If you consider 10 years short time frame.
Yep.
Crystal, there's also do you feel demo? You can give it a go and see if it's up to your alley, and then pick it up. Cause I played it. It's a real fun game. I'm not a fan of what you call it strategies like that, but I had a blast with that one. Um, Going further, let's talk Xbox very quick. So, rumors on the road is that EU is gearing up to approve the deal, which leaves out CMA. Um, if Europe approved it, it's over.
And the FTC, dude, they're still suing him.
I mean, FTC they gotta get through it. Don't worry.
How do
It's
you know?
because it's a USA. Have you met the USA? But they
Yeah,
literally allowed what you call it campaign contribution, aka bribery.
Omar, that and this are separate things. The FTC is suing Microsoft to block the deal.
I know. They are okay. So you think the FTC is gonna what you call it stop the deal?
I mean, it only takes one. That's the thing about
They're,
this. So
they're,
So
they're,
if
they're literally trying to stop the deal. It's up to the judge, but the FTC wants to stop the deal. That's why they're
okay,
suing them.
if CMA stops it, well, CMA can't do anything. They just can give what we call it recommendation to UK. If UK stops the deal, is it over?
yes,
Yes.
Because people saying that they can simply stop selling games at UK.
yeah, they're not doing
And
that.
The UK is the biggest European market, and they're gonna stop selling games in the UK.
Yeah.
okay, so there is that. Okay, as for Crystal, she played the demo and liked it. Yeah, then go ahead and pick it up. And as you can see, I'm clearly helping you with your buying addiction by giving you more games to play. Um, going back to this whole deal. Yeah, I just want this shit to be over with. I'm so tired. Like I keep saying it, but like I need gaming to get back to normal. Which, let's be real, I don't think gaming will ever get back to normal after this point. What I mean by that is Microsoft is now uh, trying to buy Activision. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say they get it. My PlayStation is not gonna sit by and do nothing. They got money. They're gonna try to grab a few studios, if not publishers. Then you're gonna have Microsoft try to do it again.
I mean,
So
that's the problem is,
yeah,
potentially this is causing, you know, super a super version of consolidation for the industry, and
Mm.
a lot of people, not us because we actually understand the problem with this bullshit, but a lot of fanboys who just want to, write checklists and, yell it's on Game Pass, don't understand the implications that
Mm.
mass consolidation can have on, you know on us, the consumer. And because they keep, which is very obvious, because they keep saying, "Oh, these people aren't doing their job. Why would they want to block this? It's all good for gamers." You know, Microsoft just wants to own the company. What's wrong with that? Like, these people are very, very, very short sighted. And with with these people, if it was up to them, we'd all be playing games via Office 365 in the next 5 years and paying permanent subscriptions to play our video games. Is the way these people are
yep.
trying to set us up. So, and that's literally what is, Microsoft's trying to gain enough control to have that effect, right? Um, and like I said, if you're into technology in any capacity and stuff, the stranglehold that Microsoft has on, the PC market. I mean, it's exclusively theirs, right? You're either Mac or PC, but pretty much any business you go to, with the exception of like art style, stuff like some editing people and stuff prefer like Mac and stuff, but for the most part, everywhere you go, a PC is the cash register, a PC is everywhere. Like all that stuff, they have all that locked down underneath them, and they're trying to perform that same feat here in gaming by acquiring what they know are some of the biggest IPs in the industry, because they obviously cannot create them. Um, they can't even get off the ground with Fable. And I mean, we what was the last time we heard about Perfect Dark? 10 years ago at this point, it feels like it's a joke. Yeah. So it's just like
Mm-hmm.
it's just they're trying to buy their way in. They're trying to, the same way in the midst of all this, they tried to buy Discord, and thankfully Discord was not, was intelligent enough to turn that ridiculous offer down, and let Microsoft ruin yet again another company. Um, and like I said,
We're
this
gonna talk
it is.
about how they're doing. Welcome to them, their own studios.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's been a mess. So yeah, like I don't know, man. The obviously
Okay, so
it's a
let's
mess.
say let's say Microsoft bought. What do you think is gonna happen? Do you think PlayStation gonna quote unquote retaliate? Retaliate?
I mean, I think PlayStation is already in the works. I think, they're holding off whatever the finalization as much as they can for whatever they're working on. I mean, I definitely think they see the issue already. And it'll become an even bigger issue should Microsoft be allowed to get Activision Blizzard, King. So I mean, I think they're already doing that. Like I think, yeah, we'll see it on our side for the first time, but I think there's a ton of stuff already already in the works that
Behind the
hasn't been
scene?
that hasn't been announced. Like they're just holding it close
Oh,
to the chest.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah,
But
I agree.
what's
I
the
agree
end
with
game?
that too.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, I agree with that too. I mean, there's probably a lot of things going on. I think they're kind of waiting how this plays out before they announce anything. But if this deal goes through, I mean, all bets are off because, like I said, like what are they gonna tell Sony? Like, oh, you can buy a publisher because we just let the one of the biggest companies in the world buy the biggest publisher in the industry
Yep.
after they already bought the publisher. I mean, there's nothing they can do to stop that. That means Sony can literally just sue the FTC, the CMA, whatever, whoever is gonna block them, say, look, you allow this to happen. You have nothing that can prevent us from taking over this publisher because it's not the biggest in the industry. You already let that one be bought by Microsoft. So I mean,
Right.
and yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'd say there are gonna be things in the works, but it's also possible that Sony might escalate that to the point where maybe they're now in talks buying, I don't know, Square or whatever, like a smaller. Well, okay, it's not small, but compared to Activision, it's small. But they might make some bigger moves. Like they had that budget like of 18 billion. No, yeah, 18 billion to spend on acquisitions, which allows them to basically buy most publishers except for the really big ones. But if this deal goes through, then maybe they're gonna say, well, we said we had 18 billion, but now that Microsoft has bought two of the biggest publishers in the industry, including the biggest one, and with the biggest franchise, and we don't know if they are gonna stop and maybe are allowed to buy more.
They're
Well,
absolutely not stopping.
yeah, we're gonna buy another publisher. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, some people said Take Two. I mean, Take Two isn't as big as Activision. So I think it's more than 18 billion. But they, if they borrow more money, they could buy it, and maybe they will. Maybe they will do that because if Call of Duty is being held hostage by Microsoft, they okay, well, we're gonna hold GTA hostage. If you're going to remove Call of Duty from our platform, well, we're gonna remove GTA, and and we're gonna put that in our service. And Take Two might be more inclined to actually be taken over because they might see the same risks, the same threat that Microsoft poses by buying Activision that Sony does. Like they might see like, okay, yeah, we might be forced in the future to actually put our shit on Game Pass because they're going to be the biggest in the industry, maybe potentially because they got Call of Duty. So maybe we should, hook up with Sony, and because they clearly don't believe in that bullshit. So that will guarantee that we will continue making money the way we do, the way we
Mm-hmm.
want to, and continue to exist the way we want to. So I'd say if this deal goes through, all bets are off. I think any ridiculous possible acquisition is on the table.
It's the Wild West after that. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's
So
yeah.
so here's what I would do if I was PlayStation. One, I would merge, not buy, but just simply merge with Square Enix, with Capcom, and a third one would be FromSoft or
I would just say Sega.
uh, Sega, could be Sega, either between Sega, FromSoft, or even Koei Tecmo, or just Bandai. So basically, I would genuinely, truly create a Japanese empire.
Well, I mean, I joked about that talking with Morgan the other night, and I was like, it should just, if this goes through, it should just be Japanese alliance after this. Like, fuck Microsoft, 110%. Japanese alliance, like, the very next day, like, PlayStation, Capcom, Sega, FromSoft,
What you call it?
the whole team, just everybody against them, and then they can launch all their shit on Nintendo, PC, PlayStation, whatever, just not Xbox. Like you gotta force them into a position at that point because they just have too
Yeah,
much.
because at what point the PlayStation then wake up and start realizing Microsoft is not stopping?
Well,
yeah.
hold on. They have already woken up. Do you
I
think
don't.
they've been
I
sleeping
I
or
don't.
something?
I don't. I disagree. I genuinely disagree because Microsoft not only was they able to buy Blizzard, I could do. I mean, what you call
Bethesda.
it, Bethesda. When Microsoft bought Bethesda, PlayStation didn't even retaliate.
Oh, I mean, they didn't know. They definitely got blindsided by that.
I actually disagree even with that because they were
No, no,
interesting.
no. That's what I'm saying. The fact that you were preparing a third party deal when the company got bought entirely is they got blindsided. That's the
Yeah.
definition of
Okay,
got
yeah,
blindsided.
okay. But
Yeah.
after being blindsided, shouldn't they, have had more than enough time to set things in motion, especially
Yeah,
with the studio,
but they
with a
didn't.
publisher like Square?
But but they have because they bought Bungie. I mean, I don't think that was uh, not totally not done for as retaliation. I mean, they figure like, okay, we need to have a developer that knows how to make games as a service, but also has a big games as a service IP. Like they need their competitor. They saw what was going on and they made a strategic choice. And if they're in talks, and I think they are talks with let's say Square Enix to buy them. I mean, that takes time. That's not something that you just do. Like, "Oh, yeah, we're going to decide now. We're going to announce it now." No, that takes time,
Hmm.
and they're probably going to wait, until this deal with Activision is complete. Because if they announce it now, then Mark's going to see they're doing it too, so we should be allowed to buy
Exactly.
Activision.
Exactly. It's gonna be the Me Too thing. Look what they did. Look at that. Like, why can't we? Yeah, immediately.
But they are already scrutinized now for
Yeah,
being just
but
better
every
than Microsoft.
but that's what I'm saying. But it's I mean like I said, it's crazy to the rich kid complaining about the kid that's busting his ass getting good grades that works
Yep.
from the ground up, and they're just paying off the teachers and they're like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Like, but I mean, it just is what it is. Like you can't show your hand yet. It's the thing. It's like you're playing poker. You ever seen motherfuckers play poker, especially like the professional league? Yeah, or even seen it as like a joke. Like when they show people playing poker, like motherfuckers got shades on at the table. They try not to move. They try not to flinch because they're not trying to show tells or anything. Like this is literally a poker match. Like you're watching the world's longest like version of Texas Hold'em. Like I need to hold my cards so they can't see them, but I also need to win the pot on the table. it's
Hmm.
it's literally poker.
Viper, were you listening? Because I know you had to be right back.
Not exactly.
Okay, so we'll give you a quick rundown. With the whole Activision Blizzard now rumored to be approved by EU, um, let's say I'm just giving Microsoft benefit of doubt that it does go through. W- We all know PlayStation gonna retaliate. So the question is, what should PlayStation do? And I suggested that they just create a Japanese empire, which
Okay,
would
I in on that part. The
be.
Japanese
Oh, you
part.
heard that part?
Yeah, I heard that part.
Okay. So go ahead, give me your thoughts about what I said, and also give me your thoughts about what is the end game about this whole thing. And do you ever think we're gonna go back to quote unquote normal, or this is the new normal? Go ahead.
Well, once the acquisition started flying, this is going to be our new normal. With that being said, I have every right to believe that if I still think the deal is going to go through, probably minus not God of War, minus
Call of Duty.
damn, yeah, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But I PlayStation has been killing it for quite a bit now. Um, I'm hoping. Ain't no hope. I know that they will do whatever they need to do. I guarantee you, once this deal is done, whether they pass or not, you're going to see the acquisitions just fly off the table in favor of PlayStation. Watch. It's going to be. it may not be companies as big as Capcom, but I almost for sure think they got Square in their back pocket. Um, and I know that both companies have said this is not the only acquisition that they're going to do. I'm curious to see what Microsoft if the ABK deal don't go through, what Microsoft who they're going to be acquiring next. They said they're not going to be done after that. So
Viper Square is bigger than Capcom.
Square is bigger than Capcom.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I just play the games. All this deals and stuff. Like I said, I would prefer not to talk about it till the shit's over with. But that's just my 2 cents on what I think about it. I didn't know Square was bigger than Capcom. I thought Capcom was bigger.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was like a confusing one for me because I definitely thought Capcom was bigger too, but
Yeah, I thought as well. So then, what about my idea that PlayStation should, start Japanese empire? Do you think that's a smart thing to do, or do you think
You
that's
think
a
I'm
pipe
complaining?
dream?
I wouldn't be complaining. Shit, more games for me.
facts.
Wait,
Hey,
can you repeat that?
I said I wouldn't be complaining. That's more games for me.
Yeah.
My end game is what am I getting out of the deal? If I'm getting whatever they getting across the pond over there in Microsoft, fuck all that. I'm not for that. But if it's more games for me, I'm all for it.
Nah, I feel you.
Gotcha. Yeah. Anyone want to say anything about this topic before we move on? We'll talk with
Yeah, I think I
more.
think
Yeah,
like
go
I
ahead.
think no, I was just saying I think more like Viper said. I'm interested to. Actually the biggest reason I don't want the deal to go through is because I want to see what happens. Because there's a lot of people
uh,
on the Xbox side talking a lot of shit about things they think are gonna happen that like people factually know can't happen. So like I'm wanting to see what's going to happen afterwards if it doesn't go through because I think that would
mm,
just be that much funnier. Also, um, the amount of popcorn I would go through on the daily from all the crying would be just so wonderful.
mm,
Yeah, do you
part
remember
of
seeing
me,
all those
part of
threats where they were saying, "Oh, just wait to see what Microsoft's gonna do if it doesn't go through," and I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, sit down in the corner somewhere."
I told people it reminded me of Randy Savage, like a WWE segment with Randy Savage. Just you wait, the Hulkster, and you'll see we're gonna run right over you. Like I'm just like, bro, it's not WWE. Like, calm down, bro. Like,
Exactly.
it's video games and companies whom you make no money off of. Like, calm down. Like, the industry could stay. The rest of the industry could stay third party, and you're still gonna be okay. Like,
Mm-hmm.
part of
I
part of
I, I, I
me.
I love that they're boasting that while at the same time they're speculating that or industry insiders speculating that if it doesn't go through that the Marx is going to sell Xbox.
yeah, that was a funny rumor. I was laughing at that one pretty hard.
Some part of me actually wants this deal to go through just so we can have the quote unquote retaliation for PlayStation. Because, again, Viper said it best, more games for me.
Well, I mean, it's open season after that. Like we said, they
Yeah,
what are you
yeah.
going to tell PlayStation they can't buy at that point? Like, you can't you can't stop me for three, four, five publishers because the the effect of what you just let happen doesn't even span those publishers. Like that's how dangerous this is. As I said, it's such a ridiculous thing. On top of, you know, the stuff that you already let them purchase. That's what makes it so crazy. So,
But even there is also the whole situation with Microsoft would be literally double the size of PlayStation.
it would be insane.
It not IP wise only, but also studios wise.
Now, the only thing I'm going to tell you about this that could be very, very funny is Microsoft getting them and then just ending up bleeding a lot of the talent. Because they've already started bleeding talent from their own studios that they had prior, and then also from Bethesda via some of the 10,000 plus firing they had and stuff like that. And it's just like it just seems to keep happening. So it's like you're buying a hollow shell, if you can't keep the talent to make the game.
Kind of
Um,
how PlayStation outsmarted uh, everyone by literally having whatchamacallit, Bungie dev stay
well,
with
yeah,
Bungie.
they paid the bill, had the conversation, and paid the bill to keep and retain the talent. Like people keep
Look,
forgetting that that's the key. Like a lot of people are leaving
yeah,
these major, like a lot of vets are leaving these major studios and making their own studios. So it's like
yep.
you're getting this resurgence in the third party market where you're getting all these incredibly capable people leaving these bigger studios. So it's like you could potentially buy a shell of what that company used to be.
Remember when uh, people were saying PlayStation overpaid for Bungie?
Yeah, I remember.
They said it. And look who's laughing now. Look, very quick. How is Xbox is even able to continue with this? Where is FTC and CMA and all that jazz? Are they not seeing that Microsoft literally fired people that were working on Starfield? It's like, how are you in your right mind allowing for this to even continue? That's what my boggling for me, because Microsoft have proven time and time again that they they don't know how to handle their own studios. Which that's the next topic. What do you think, Nate, about what I just said?
I mean, I think they're paying attention, but I mean, they kind of already laid their cards out. Again goes back to like the poker analogy. Like I said, you can't show your hand too early, because then shit starts to happen that possibly could have been part of your defense or part of your prosecution, against Microsoft. So I think they might be kind of hand tied for that, depending on what stage everything is in. I don't think they're not taking it into consideration. I just think it might be part of their final play, if they feel like they need to go that far. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would hope the key in all this, out of what you mentioned, is that they're paying attention to their inability to already manage what they have. That's the key. Like this company who is mismanaging, which people are trying to say like, no, they're not, or this and that, or whatever, and it's like it's not even a question at this point. Like, of course they are. Like you've got companies who aren't even remotely near the scale of the platform holders who are producing two, three, four, five titles in the time that you can't get one out the door from some of your studios that have some of the most experienced veterans in the industry. And then you've got people coming over to these studios who were starting with these studios and then left, and their reasoning is ultimately the studio just wasn't doing shit. Like the management was terrible. Like,
Yeah,
so I mean, there's plenty of evidence of all these issues going on, um, and other reports coming out from some of their other studios, them not
yeah,
being able to gear up Undead Labs to really take it to the next level.
yeah.
Um, like it's just
We're gonna talk about that.
there's just so
So,
much. So
apparent,
yeah,
yeah, apparently Microsoft studios have issue. Fable still miles away, just now entered full production, and hearing it being shown to be Witcher-like. Perfect Dark is not even close, and Everwild is also absolutely not even close. And the next big release would be after Starfield would be uh, Hellblade 2.
so allegedly, if that actually shows up.
Mm-hmm. So, and then you have also Microsoft held a meeting at Xbox to downplay all the dev leaving the initiative and claimed it was due to other opportunities. many devs reached out and say that wasn't true and they left because it was poorly run. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was run poorly because, again, Microsoft would be paying more than PlayStation.
I mean, they'd be paying
And
more than a lot of people, so yeah,
yeah,
I mean, the level of frustration you have to experience to leave, potentially your highest paying opportunity would just be something, and you're not comfortable working in that environment. I mean, you're talking about developers dedicating 4, 5, 6 years of their life to a project, and it's like, if you're frustrated every day, not enjoying creating games because the company is incompetent, then I mean, yeah,
yeah.
I would leave too. I mean, I could take my talents elsewhere.
So yeah, we covered this. Perfect Dark development at Xbox initiative does not seem to be going great. You have Jeff Rapp saying Rare has trouble developing Everwild. Yeah. Allegation of sexism, that I'm not gonna count because that happened in every studio. Bullying and burnout inside the Microsoft studio behind State of Decay 3. Undead Lab. Fable development is slow due to Playground inexperience with RPGs, says former designer. Um, yeah. To me, they showcase something when it comes to what we call it, rock with Hellblade 2, and it's like, congratulations, you're now reaching PlayStation 4 level, while in fact this is a Series X only game.
Yeah.
So I'm yeah. Also, where is the if the game comes out like the way it was showcased, Hellblade 2, it's gonna flop. Well, now I'm gonna be biased here because I hate Hellblade, the first one. So unless they do changing it dramatically when it comes to the combat and find a way to make the puzzle less tedious, it's gonna
Hey,
absolutely not gonna be well.
hey Omar.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You say it's gonna flop. Every game from here on out for Xbox is gonna flop. It's gonna be on Game Pass.
Yeah,
Mm,
it's
They
definitely
can't
not going
sell.
to be the sales numbers, that's for sure.
They can't sell it. If people ain't gonna buy it, it's gonna flop.
oh, um, mm, Game Pass is iffy because it's like this is Microsoft own. So then, can someone explain to me what Microsoft endgame with this one?
I told you, it is enough. They want to generate enough control where you feel like you perpetually need the subscription to Game Pass. That's the real goal.
Hmm.
Whether
Okay.
whether you are playing on PC, whether you're playing on Xbox, whether you're playing via the cloud, whether you're playing via your Samsung TV, that this is the goal. I told you, this is the Satya Nadella. Like, people keep talking about him, but like I said, they don't know what he was famous for. Like I said, he's famous for getting Microsoft Office fully integrated as a subscription based service that was literally everywhere. It's on your
Mhm.
iPad, it's accessible on your phone, it's accessible, it's the accessibility. They're trying to mirror that same thing, but like I said, the problem, the thing they didn't have a problem with Microsoft Office is they already had control of that industry. You see what I'm
Yep,
saying?
that's it.
Yeah. So companies, yeah, tons of companies could just use Google Docs, right? But they don't, because the industry standard is Microsoft Office. So you know what a lot of businesses do? They swallowed it, and they just swallowed the cost, and they pay them perpetually from now until the end of time. When before, you used to have companies that would purchase a big set of licenses, and that would be the only sale that Microsoft would get off of them for years and years and years and years and years. So
Mhm.
they see that recurring revenue, and this is the dream, right? This is the dream for all these companies. How much money can I continue to get out of you? But in order to
Mhm.
do that, you need the amount of control where I have so much that you can't avoid me anymore,
That
basically.
you have no choice. Yep.
Yeah, you have no choice. I'm going to create 2 or 3 games like every year that you must play. You gotta play.
Mhm.
Even if you only subscribe 1 or 2 months out of the year, whatever it is, I'm going to get money out of you yearly. That's what they want.
Okay. Okay.
That's the
Okay.
goal.
Okay. When it comes to that topic, I think anyone have anything else to say about that one? Going right, twice, right, twice. Um, I think. Okay, so PlayStation, staying with Game Pass, not Game Pass, Activision Blizzard, PlayStation, by the request from FTC, not request, order from FTC, they must disclose their third party and what we call it, their exclusivity deals or time exclusivity deals from 2019 all the way till now. Um, do you think that's gonna change the tie between, because we all know PlayStation is very heavy when it comes to exclusivity deals, as they should, if they were people on the platform, common sense. Um, do you think they're gonna be in hot water because of that,
No.
or
And the reason is because there's nothing that's going to show up in this documentation that is a set of deals that they don't know about already. Like the reality of it is like they already know.
mm-hmm.
Like
Okay.
they're trying to just bring it to the public. They're trying to that Microsoft is playing the the
Public opinion.
the public opinion. Hey guys, look at this. Look over here. Look at this. It's get as much information publicly out to try and generate, support from outside of everything to try
Mm-hmm.
and back them up against the FTC or the CMA and say, "Hey, look,
Mm-hmm.
we like they did this and they did that and because like I said, they already know. They know more than any of us know. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
people who I promise you, there's people whose entire job is to know what the hell PlayStation is doing at all times. Their entire job.
And do you think PlayStation was aware of that, or was it blindsided by this one?
I mean, they definitely don't want to hand it over. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to show contractual details, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm still sure that there's gonna be some shit within that that's gonna be like, look, you're gonna get this, and this, and these details are gonna be redacted or whatever, or this isn't gonna be shown because this isn't part of what you requested, or this is like
Mm-hmm.
because this is where legalese gets real messy where it's
Mm-hmm.
like certain things are protected by federal law or supersede anything that could come up in court like because confidentiality agreements, patent agreements, like there could be all kinds of stuff in there that they're not allowed to disclose until x amount of date. So that's why I said anything that actually comes out of this isn't going to be anything they don't already know. That's why I
Okay.
said I don't think it's going to be anything. I think this is just more ammo, like Viper was saying, for the public opinion to try and be like, look what all they did. Look what all they did. You know, but the reality is we already know everything that's on the table. Um, and also at the same time, it may ultimately backfire because they may need to see theirs as well. Hey, they're gonna bring theirs, you're gonna bring yours, because you're not innocent. We know they have plenty of deals in
Mm-hmm.
place just as well. Just because they suck at it, uh, that's not PlayStation's fault. Like I said, this is largely the student. Like I said, just complaining about the A student. Like it's not fair. It's not fair. Why is he better at everything than me? I
Mm-hmm.
should be able to use my money, to make up what I believe is a significant gap between me and the good student. That's basically
Mm-hmm.
what Microsoft is doing.
I have a question. So, uh, people I interact with, I'm not gonna say the names right now. They truly believe that wish. I find it mind-boggling that they even do. Basically, they believe that PlayStation is paying to prevent Xbox from getting the best version of games. They truly believe that. To the point they believe that PlayStation is not gonna get what screwed and sued because that's gonna come out as an information. I'm like,
So
See,
the only thing that'll come out in this is parody, which is in Microsoft shit, which is in everybody's shit.
hey,
Look,
hey, hey, check this out real quick though, and this is the issue. If Microsoft produced a game that showed off what the Xbox Series X can do, they may have a point,
mm-hmm,
but they can't,
facts.
and that's the issue right there. If the Series X has a game that's just so fucking mind blowing and better than anything PlayStation has ever made, they might have a case.
True.
but would PlayStation not get literally sued the fuck
No, no, no,
over?
no, no, no. You
If-
gotta
No,
parody though. Parody is different. You gotta remember,
What parody?
parody is just you can't make the other game significantly different from my game. So Call of Duty on mine, if I'm running 60 FPS, and he's then that means the other company's running 60 FPS. It's parody within reason. Now, obviously,
Even if let's say Xbox can run it at 180 or something like that.
so you've had games that have done that though, where they'll have a higher mode or something like that. You've had games that have done that, but like I said, it's rare, right? Like the Mass Effect the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, right? It runs at like 120 FPS or something on the Xbox because it's the backwards compatibility mode or whatever is doing it. So that's something you can't change. It's not that PlayStation isn't capable of doing that. It's just that the way that they programmed the game, they didn't program it to take advantage of the PlayStation 5. It was developed as a PlayStation 4 title. So technically,
Okay.
parity was withheld or upheld, but then you had a difference in capability with the built-in hardware, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like stuff can happen where you get these slight differences, but the parity clause is to just make sure like they're not purposely let me remember, like you're never gonna see something so drastic that it's crazy, but they need to make sure, hey, everything is feature set. That's what the parity is: feature parity, graphical parity. Within reason. If my system just gets shitted on, then yeah, Microsoft can't really demand parity, right, for the Series S because it's such a weaker platform. But the problem again with that is they oftentimes get a slightly less performing version because of their issue and their fault for making two different SKUs, as opposed to PlayStation with the one. Like that's just again, this is their fault again. Like something they're complaining because something that was their choice that caused them to get the worst version of certain things.
Okay,
Yeah.
but PlayStation is not. So here's the thing: they truly believe that PlayStation is out here paying developers to prevent, like for example, let's say a
No, no, no.
game.
I know they think that the Xbox is like some super powerful, device that's exceeds the PS5 by like leaps and bounds. It doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it
PlayStation is
doesn't.
paying developers to prevent
It,
that from
and
happening.
it, and
I'm
it, and
like,
it and it doesn't. You know why? Because of what Viper said earlier. If it
yeah.
could have done that, they would have done it already, and Halo
But
wouldn't have been the ugly ass bitch it was.
But
but even before that, wouldn't PlayStation literally get sued
No, no,
if
no, no,
they
no.
were
I'm
ever
saying
to do something like that?
even if it was hidden though. But I'm saying it's not, bro. I can tell you factually because my PC is more powerful than anything on this market. Like that's not a thing. That's why I said parity is not what you're talking about. What they're talking about is actually, hey, sabotage this version
Yeah, that's what
down
I'm
to
talking
down
about.
to us. No, they're not gonna find that. That's not a thing. No one in their right mind would put that in a contractual agreement. That would be
Nope.
ridiculous.
Not only that, wouldn't Microsoft own developers, or rather the lead designer of Series X, actually realize that and be able to prove it in
Oh
court
yeah,
and
they
said,
can see the performance stuff the same way that did to the even a crazier degree than Digital Foundry can, because they have the analytical tools and developmental tools on hand to see exactly how everything is being utilized. So they can see all that. That's why I said that's false, and that's just another thing that a lot of Xbox fans are making up because they were promised this power your dreams device that is still getting its ass whooped, next to this incredibly engineered piece of machinery that is the PlayStation 5. And PlayStation 5 fans know that whether you get the digital version or you get the hard, the disc version, you get the same experience across the board. And the reason
mm,
they don't get that over there is because it's their fault again. Like all these decisions are Microsoft's fault.
mm,
The same reason they didn't get Yakuza earlier, their fault. The same reason they didn't
shut
have
up,
their own Marvel game, their fault. Like I'm
shut
sick of
up.
all this shit that's their fault, and they're like they want to point the finger at everybody but themselves.
Yep. A shout out to Mark Cerny, apparently is appointed as lead when it comes to the next PlayStation with
As he should be.
PlayStation 6.
As he should be, because he beasted that shit. And one of the key points you have to pay attention to that he stated that people kept ignoring is how much they talk to key developers who work on their platform. What do you like? What do you need? What would make this better? When you do an open world game, what do you need? When you do a racing game, what do you need? What do you need the system's capabilities to do to achieve the maximum version of your vision that you need without
So
us
you tell
breaking the
me,
bank?
so you tell me PlayStation actually cares?
Eh,
Hmm.
Thank you. I mean, again, like I said, people don't want to believe it, but he was on stage telling people this stuff. He had a whole keynote about it. But this is the problem. A bunch of people didn't want to listen to Mark Cerny. They think he's just up there talking some nonsense.
They fell asleep.
Yeah. Like, and I'm like, no, I'm listening, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. This is crazy. Like, so they went and worked with them. They worked with this other studio. They worked with all these different developers that develop all these different types of games, and was like, hey, so when we bring this and we use the Kraken tech and we give you this, that, and the third, and it keeps coming out, and everybody thinks it's bullshit. You know what I mean? It's to the point where this comes back to PC, right? PC wasn't even running games the way that PlayStation 5 was, right? Because there's something called direct storage. Again, Microsoft's fault, by the way. They promised direct storage years ago, and they're only just now beginning to activate it on Windows 11, which I still don't have, and I'm probably not upgrading to that hoe neither, because I can't stand Windows 11. But direct storage is what I was telling you about when I said that PCs, even though my PC already had a really fast SSD, it only loaded games at a maximum threshold of 480 Mbps before direct storage. It had a threshold. So whether you spent thousands of dollars on a really, really fast SSD, you still ran into a limitation because the environment that is running it, Microsoft Office, this is the thing where I said you can't equate the peaceable thing like a PC to the a something that is a well-designed machine to work together, that is balanced in a specific way. Like, basically think about it like this, right? You can modify a car. Let's say the Xbox One is like a modified car, right? But they put a bunch of turbo in it and no tires. You're
Mm,
just gonna slide everywhere. It's not balanced. And then in PlayStation's case, the PS5 would be like, an Indy car, right? Indy cars, almost none of the Indy car, everybody in the race is capable of winning, right? But what happens when you put it in the right hands? You've got 4 or 5 top drivers in the IndyCar racing scene that just tend to dominate, right? But their cars are all within in milliseconds of each other. They're designed by some of the top engineers in the world, right? This is how race cars are designed. Everybody runs. You don't see an Indy car that's got like a really big wing on it or that's got different rims on it. No, they're designed to um to compete with each other on the level, but it's race engineered. Everything is down to the very minute details of tuning and key features, right? And it's one of the most balanced machines you can have on the planet. The same thing with, certain motorcycles and stuff that are developed. That's the key. That's the difference, right? Now, can you design a PC that way? Sure. But again, you're missing the other part. You're missing the firmware in that case. Like I told you, Microsoft hadn't activated direct storage. These are all the things that PlayStation did from the ground up with the PlayStation 5 in mind. The hardware, the firmware, with the operating system, the way the Kraken tech works, the way it works in tandem with, the way that the
Yo,
SSD spools up.
the Kraken is no joke.
It's no
Like
joke.
legit.
It's no freaking joke. But people
It's
thought it was a game.
It's actually downsizing the files. Like it's really doing what it's supposed to do.
But the reason it can do that is because, again, the thing that everybody's like, oh, that's so stupid, is, again, the speed of the SSD is the key to that, because it can unpack that stuff so fast that they can pack it tighter and smaller and take up less space in a time when space is a premium on all our consoles, especially high speed storage. And Xbox fans would know about that because, they're still paying $250 plus for, a 1 terabyte expansion or whatever. So yeah, they know about that.
You chose violence, huh?
Absolutely.
Anyone have anything else to say about what NH just said? Yeah, I thought so. I can't even because that's innate.
Man,
He
you know,
knows
you
his
know,
stuff.
I gotta go off on the tech, man. People.
Yeah, no. I'm actually okay with you going up because I will never forget how they clown McStaney
They
when he
did.
says that relying on C-flop is almost like wrong move or something like that.
Mm-hmm. He said it's not the entire measure of the system,
Yeah,
and he was right.
it's almost as if he knew what he was talking about. Almost.
Defending champ right
Uh,
there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so going from that topic to the final topic of the day or evening, and that would be so the preview for a little small game called I don't know, Final Fantasy 16 have been released, and holy generic. If this game is looking more generic, dude. I'm so not impressed. It's not even funny. It's like I have always wanted a darker theme game, and I'm genuinely excited about that. But the combat, I'm like that's so freaking generic.
I got it pulled up on screen.
What are you
I
talking about? It's gonna be the best Final Fantasy game ever.
I
No,
dude, I'm so
Yeah, it is. Y'all are just haters.
yeah,
It's
we're haters. We're haters. I know.
It's
It,
gonna be a really good game. I'll give it that. However, um, mm,
dude,
I don't know where to begin on this one. But go ahead.
not, before you begin, I need to ask Weave a question. Weave, have you seen? Would if you didn't know that this was Final Fantasy, could this have been the next East 9 or East 10?
No, because the art style is pretty different.
I mean, okay, fair point. I'm talking about strictly gameplay, from gameplay perspective.
I mean, yeah, they changed the gameplay, but the kind of already we're moving in that direction with 7 remakes. So I mean, look, I totally get all your criticism. Like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like my games to change gameplay, though. I guess my favorite franchise, the Yakuza franchise, did do that with 7, but they did still offer the variety of the original combat with their spin-off titles.
Hmm.
Um, but
Keyword spin-off.
yeah, but I used to think like I'm not that invested in Final Fantasy franchise as you guys, so I'm not bothered by that necessarily. And the thing is, like, what I've seen, at least from the setting and the story, this looks way more interesting than previous entries, at least the last one. And that, like, I have that one as well, and I pre-ordered this one, but the last one, like, I absolutely hated the gameplay there, where it's basically just the game pretty much plays itself in a sense. Like one wasn't like one button basically for every attack. Like, that was stupid. Like, at least at least they're trying to make it a game that has, well, okay, we have to see for ourselves, of course, once we play it, but it
Hmm.
has interesting gameplay. Um, it's not the
Wait, so you
gameplay.
hated 7 remake?
Not No, not 7. What's the last one?
That's
Are you
7
talking about?
remake.
You talking about the
Oh, no,
main
no,
line? You
no,
talking
no.
about 15?
Yeah, 15.
I,
Yeah.
are you talking about Crisis Core?
No, he's
No,
talking about 15.
Oh yeah, 15 was dog shit. Like, man, we don't talk about 15 over here.
we don't.
Uh,
Well, we do, because that's actually the one that we have to compare it to, because that was the latest entry in the main series. And
mm,
compared to that, this probably has better gameplay, at least what we've seen. It's just not the gameplay that you guys are looking for a mainline Final Fantasy series, and I get that, but like,
So let me just ask you this, Weeb. Let me ask you this. I got the footage on the screen right now, and I don't know if you can see it or not, right? But if you didn't know shit and you were in a vacuum, and I was like, "Yo, they're about to come out with the next Devil May Cry, and they're going medieval," tell me you wouldn't believe me.
dude, I will never forget how kind of funny that if you wanna if you wanna prepare yourself for Final Fantasy 16, play Devil May Cry. Excuse you? Like, that doesn't even compute.
Would you believe me, Weeb?
Go ahead.
He unmuted for a second, but I think he.
yeah, I muted because I was watching the footage,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah,
I'm not saying
not
that's a
that.
bad thing, right? Because that's the other thing people are getting at. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
same.
what I'm just saying. Wouldn't you
I
believe me if I said
I
it was Devil May Cry and medieval?
um. Well, I mean, look, I'm a Devil May Cry fan, so I would instantly pick it out that that's not Devil May Cry. But uh, look, I see the gameplay is definitely leaning more in the character action genre. Yes, I would agree with you in that one. And again, look, I get you guys' objection to it, but like, for me personally, it's not going to be an issue, because I'm not tied down by. I mean, tied down is maybe the wrong word, but
Invested.
uh, I'm not invested. Yeah, invested in it. So for me, it doesn't bother me as much as it would, a fan who's played all the titles and suddenly sees this shift. Um, and even then, I'd say I'd say you could still give it the benefit of the doubt, because, like I said, like, I've had the same thing with the Yakuza franchise, where they made the latest mainline entry a turn-based game, while it was always an action brawler type game, and the next one mainline is going to be the same. So you know, and that game was actually pretty good. Like, still, I would prefer the original gameplay, because that uh, it is so, so fine tuned after all these years, that they've mastered that, while their turn based gameplay is basically trying to be like Dragon Quest. And still needs a lot of fine tuning. So I totally get the let's say what you because probably the gameplay. I mean, it looks fine, but probably it's not going to be up to the same level of Devil May Cry, right? It's going to be probably rougher than that.
Well, I mean,
So
the guy that's doing the combat is the Devil May Cry 5 combat designer, so I don't know.
So I got to. I
Yeah.
also
yeah, but still, I mean, I've seen this with like even then, they sometimes screw it up, with
Yeah, yeah.
even the Devil May Cry games like Devil May Cry 2. We don't talk about that one. Um, and and I would also argue probably the best character action game designers are with Platinum, because those were the original guys who did basically invented Devil May Cry, and then they took all that expertise. And Devil May Cry is still good. Like 5 was really good in terms of gameplay, but I still say like Bayonetta's probably still the queen of the character action genre, because that's where the expertise is. So yeah, probably it. I mean, sure, it is somewhat comforting knowing that there is somebody at least knowing what they're doing and
Hmm.
working on that. It's probably not going to be the best character action game out there. And it's probably, while Final Fantasy has a lot of experience with a turn-based combat, and that's something that could leverage and could be, basically setting the standard there. So I understand that aspect of it. But again, like for me, I'm looking forward to this. I mean, but mostly also for the setting, right? Because I've sort of like this dark setting they're going for. Is to me personally more interesting than the 15, basically with the boy band going on
Oh,
a
I
road
agree.
trip.
Oh
I
yeah,
100%
Boyban was
agree at that
horrible.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
we can all agree that whole Boyban shit was horrendous.
yeah.
so
So this is, at least from what I've seen, more appealing to me. So,
Agreed.
but that without playing the game, but knowing how good it is, and it's all fair to critique the gameplay and the decisions they made. And yeah, I know that your guys want to go in a rant of what Yoshi P said, like, and I agree that he's a tool for dissing JRPGs like that. But yeah, no, that's that, and that's if you're asking me the opinion about what I've seen from the game, whether or not I
Hmm.
want to play that, and yeah, I'd say I want to play that. That looks interesting to me.
Mm.
I
Okay,
got.
so I am
I
out of loop. What? Oh, sorry. If we want to talk, go
Viper.
ahead.
got a question for Nate,
Hmm.
or anybody if they know the answer, and we'll come to a conclusion here. So, excluding Final Fantasy VII remake because it is a remake of 7.
Hmm.
What was the latest, most successful game from the Final Fantasy series going backwards?
I think 15.
Well, I'm okay. 15 sucked though. We all agree that sucked. I'm talking about
Yeah, but I'm talking
Well,
about
yeah, you said
what you're talking
successful though,
about.
because they still
one
sold the
that
gang
everybody
division.
loved that was really successful. Would you
Oh,
agree?
I'm gonna say 10.
Yeah, 10 and 10 too, right?
Yeah,
That was the last fully turn-based RPG that came out in the Final Fantasy series.
yeah.
10
Because
is fully 10 based.
right,
10 2, no, not. Oh yeah, 10 2. You mean 12 or 10 2?
no,
Yeah,
10
he
no,
said
2
10
was.
too.
12 had Gambit system, which wasn't fully turn-based.
Mm-hmm,
13 had the Paradigm system, which also wasn't fully turn-based.
mm-hmm.
15, even though people claim it to be successful, was dog shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last successful one was fully turn-based. Think about that.
Yeah.
So then I have a question for us, the fan base. Are we a relic of the past?
That's not a
Are
thing.
we
That's not a thing.
are we fighting almost like evolution by
Well,
itself?
no, and I'm gonna tell you why.
You're
Because
you're going out like the dinosaurs. I'm sorry to
Yes.
tell y'all.
because so this is the problem with certain creators in a vacuum, right? They start doing something they think is the it thing or the hip thing, and then at the same time somebody else comes out with the idea that they thought was ancient and you know sets it up with something new and does something innovative with it, and it takes off like a rocket, right? Like there is no, it's not out of date, right? Like turn based is not out of date. Most people who say that, these motherfuckers wouldn't know good turn based strategy if it hit them in the face. Like
Mm-hmm.
people are literally commenting on shit they don't know. Like I'm sorry, like it's just the reality of it. Like you must be this tall to ride this ride, you know, to have this conversation. Like there's just too many people who have done nothing but play action games and don't know shit about the other, but they complain about it, but they've never tried it, right? Like I don't even like Fox had this whole conversation with me and Morgan, and Morgan keeps giving Fox shit because Fox has not played turn based. She thinks that she won't like it, but she hasn't played it, so she doesn't know. And so
Yeah.
she's being facetious, you know, she's doing it on purpose. You know, she's being extra about it because she knows she doesn't really know. She says, "Yeah, I think it would be unappealing to me." But again, she doesn't know. But there's tons of games and tons of things that I've put Fox onto over the years that she thought she wouldn't be into. You know what I mean? So it's like that's what I'm saying. Like, but people now in reverse, right? People think that us, meaning you know me and you specifically, and like Viper and stuff, that are really really into turn based, don't know shit about action. Motherfucker, we could teach a class on fucking action.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Dude.
I see all these misconceptions about, oh, y'all just hate action based combat, or you suck at it, or this, that, and the third. Nigga, we can step in the ring right now and you can get that ass smacked. Like, I've been doing this. Like, action based combat is the default for 99% of the fucking industry. Like, everything is action based combat. Nobody hates it, bro. There's just certain aspects and certain things that, yes, you know, I would like for certain things to remain that way, but I'm not even getting on Final Fantasy 16 entirely because of that, right? One of my
Right.
biggest issues with this, right, and you can see it on screen, whether you played it or not, right? You can see the button mapping on the screen right now. You can see it. This is the same conversation we had with Bari and Persona, and they swore it wasn't a thing, but I keep telling it's not a perception. This is a fact. There is a button limitation on the screen. I'm gonna rewind it so y'all can see it because it went off the screen. There is a factual button limitation where this motherfucker could press R2 and go through these 3 variations of skills, right? That's all he has at his disposal. And then you can switch between the other 3 things. So he has a limitation right now of potentially 9 skills that he can execute, right? Guess how much the limitation is on turn based? There isn't one. It's as limited as the options you give me. That's what I love about turn based. The strategic unlimited nature of it. And people again have this Dragon Quest 8 view of turn based and go, "Oh, that's boring." And it's like, of course it looks boring. You've looked at the most rudimentary version of it, not played it, and you think that's all turn-based has to offer. This is why I said I can't have these conversations and why they require so much nuance and why I don't comment on it a lot on Twitter. Twitter doesn't allow for enough nuance to be had in a conversation. Not only that, but you don't know who you're talking to, right? I can have this conversation with y'all because I know you guys know what I'm talking about, right? You guys have experienced enough of the industry to understand the strategic differences in what I'm talking about and the limitations that I'm pointing out, right? And this isn't knocking someone's prey. If you love the shit that you are seeing on screen right now, have at it. Have a motherfucking ball. Guess what? I'm going to play Final Fantasy 16. Let's set the record straight, right? Like, probably the fucking CE edition, day one, you know, with the double steelbook from Best Buy, right? I'm not buying it. It's a mainline fucking Final Fantasy. It's a national fucking, you know, thing for people who are fans of RPGs, right? Like, of course we're going to purchase it and give it a shot and see what's what, right? But it's not special. It's not immune to criticism, like a lot of people keep trying to act like it is, because they're obsessed with this Devil May Cry looking ass combat. And I'm like, cool, you like it? I don't. I'm free to dislike that shit. Get the fuck over it. Like, I'm not taking your happiness away.
Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
Wait, two games come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Two games when it comes to turn based. I'm gonna start with let's start with Chris Tales.
Mm-hmm.
Viper, before you go, can I say one thing to Nate?
Yeah, what?
Can I say one thing to Nate?
He said, "Go ahead."
Yeah, no, I said go ahead. Yeah.
I didn't hear you. What I wanted to say is, I think the conversation got shut down the second that I read on Twitter that you need to actually play a game to know what type of genre it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. When I wrote that, yeah,
I'm
I
literally
laughed
seeing
at that.
Or there's another one. I read another one where I don't know her, she
Mhm.
was extra. She is like, if you're complaining about Final Fantasy 16 being an action, just admit that you suck at acting games.
Yeah, I saw I saw
Like,
that. I'm mutuals with that person. She's actually a really cool person. I just think she was in her feelings because later she said, because she re no, but I know what you said. The way she said it at first, I was like, yo, we could step in the ring right now. Like I DM'd her like, yo, you can come get this work right now. We can hop in Street Fighter 5, whatever. We can smack it up. You know what I'm saying? You talking a lot of shit right now. And she was like, oh nah, like she elaborated and was like, she was talking about people who were complaining that because it's action based, that it's going to have some sort of like insane difficulty curve or something. Like people looking at it almost like a Souls game or something. I personally haven't seen that argument. I haven't.
no one ever mentioned that argument. We all
Yeah.
talked about the limitation with combos, with stuff like that, with the bottom clamps and stuff like that. But besides the case, I never seen a single argument talking about difficulty.
Yeah, I haven't
Like
seen
now,
I haven't seen it, but that's what she elaborated afterwards in the same tweet,
okay.
that she was coming after people who were saying like it was going to have this difficulty issue because it's action based. And I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's definitely not an argument for me. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's not an argument.
yeah,
Before I give the mic to
Viper.
Viper, to Abstract Gaming. Go ahead, Viper.
Yeah, so when it comes to turn-based games, there are two games that I think did a pretty good job of it not being so quote unquote boring.
Mhm.
Chris Tales is one.
Mhm.
Now Chris Tales is a game where you fly back and forth through time. In addition, that also happens during the battle. So if you're fighting a monster that looks like a 20-year-old adult, you can go back in time and have it be a 3-year-old baby and smack the shit out of it. Or you can move time forward to where it's like 70 years old and smack the shit out of it.
See, that's an interesting mechanic, and you just explained something to me that I didn't know about that game.
Oh yeah, that's the.
I recommend you Crystal. Crystal is great.
If you go to the thing about that, Nate, if you go to the wrong time,
you could fuck up.
You could wind up with a boss that you don't want to be fighting.
See, I like that. That's a new aspect.
In addition, you can smack the X button for extra damage when you attack, or you can smack the X button for defense.
So they gave you active initiatives as well.
That's a turn-based game that did it good, that did it well. Another one is the Shin Megami Tensei games. Now, this is more on difficulty based. If you fuck up in one of those games and you heal a fire dude, you about to get destroyed. You are about to. The thing about the Shin Megami Tensei games is you got to focus on hitting the weaknesses. If you don't, they're liable to come back. They hit hard. They hit hard already. Period. All the enemies hit hard already. The thing is, if you make them stronger by hitting them with their strength, they will come back and fuck you up.
Yeah.
So that you got to strategically hit their weak points, and go about those are turn-based games that does it well. And it's not like you sit there, I hit you, you hit me, I hit you, you hit me. That's what most people think they are. And that's the problem that I have. So they think these action games are so much better because they didn't really pick up the sticks and see what these turn-based games are like.
Exactly. And that's a conversation again that I had with Morgan, and I keep bringing it up because she's trying all these games while I'm talking to her. but when she was trying Persona 5 Royale for the first time, and then she's mentioning all these things that she's coming across that she likes, and I'm
Mhm.
like, now you're seeing how different it is, right? From all these different things. Like, and she mentioned like the baton pass mechanic in
I
the
love that.
game and shit like that. And she's like, oh, I wish I had that in Octopath because I want to do this one thing. And then I want to, like, the strategies are bleeding through and coming out in her mind now that she's played a significant amount of turn-based JRPGs that are quite unique, and she sees the difference in the strategies you employ, how it works. You know, mentioning, you know, hey, like, man, the personas really add a crazy dynamic to
Mhm.
Persona and what you're capable of, because you could play and have a completely different playthrough because the personas you brought to the battle on Joker could be completely different than mine. You might one shot this person, or you might
Mhm.
struggle because you brought the wrong ones, and you have none that are good against this boss, or you know, this type, but then you also had a bunch of good defense, so you went through attrition and you had a long ass battle but you still won. Like, she's seeing all these variations, and people think, like you said, the problem with most people on the outside looking in is they think X button, X button, X button.
Which is not the
Eh,
case.
it's not the case. And it's like,
Go ahead, try and do that with. I have not played Octopath, but
oh
I
yeah, you
bet
will
you
get
money
mollywopped like
you
immediately.
eviscerated if you try that with Octopath.
Yeah.
And again, I have not touched Octopath yet.
Yeah, yeah,
Shit,
you would definitely
there's a
get destroyed. Like, and I'm talking about regular mobs. Like, regular mobs will destroy you if you just mashing the X button. Like, yeah, this game is no joke. But
shit.
if you employ your people correctly, and you have a great combination of people and available skills, magic, and different weapon types, you could break the enemy down like kung fu. You know what I'm saying? Hit all the weak points, and then, you know, you're breaking them in two hit, you know, 2 3 turns, and you know, then you're annihilating them in one round. You know, because your strategy and the way you've compiled your team is that important. That's the level of strategy and thought process that a lot of us fall in love with these games.
Chess,
Hmm.
chess versus checkers.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. That's my favorite one. Chess versus checkers. It's like a lot of these people are just chess players and they don't know how to play chess. So every time they see chess, they get intimidated. You know what
Yep,
I'm saying?
exactly. Chess is an exact replication of turn based, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to think so many moves ahead. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it could be such an intense game. But if you don't know what you're doing, you have no idea what's happening on the table. You don't even see the trap coming. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But versus two people playing each other that are masters in this, that see constantly are trying to skirt around each other's moves. Like, I've seen stuff where I'm just like, that when they explain it, and I'm like, oh, oh my god, you know, like, because I mean, yeah, I'm lost on a chess master level. Like, I know how to play, and I'm decent, but like when I see like they call it, you know, moves so good, them shits got names. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Does
yeah,
the,
yeah.
you know, he pulled the Zelensky. Oh my god, you know, and I'm like, wait, what? You know, and then they run it back and they explain it, and you just realize the forethought. You know, like, here, this is why this person moved this way, because you baited them here with these 3 pawns, put them in a position here, caused them to sacrifice this here. It is literally so many moves ahead. They played the game before they even started. Like,
Hmm.
Yeah, well, okay, but you know the way to win chess is to put a vibrator on your ass, right?
hey, bro. Hey, if that was the case, bro, it'd be some new champions out here. Some new
Shit.
champions. But yeah, man, it's
But
just it
yeah,
gets crazy.
mm,
There's just so much nuance to it and stuff. But like I said, man, we all gonna play the game.
Yep.
Obviously, you know, that's the one misconception a lot of people have. They act like I'm like, I could give you 15 different things I dislike about certain games that I've played, right? Like, people act like you just gotta bow down to everything Final Fantasy 16, and if you don't just absolutely love and are enamored with this game, that you know, you're crazy. Like, perfect example, right? You just played Elysium, right, or whatever,
Yep.
and you talked about dropping that game. You know what I said about that game, and I probably will still do the same thing that you did, and I was like, just because Square put it out and it looks okay, like I'll probably pick that shit up for $9.99 at some point whenever that happens, and I'll probably still drop it because I thought it was that trash, and yet I know people who were just singing the praises of that game, and yet your reaction is about like mine will most likely be, because the quality of that game is something that I could already tell is below my standard. And that's the real problem.
It's not a bad game. It really isn't. I enjoyed my time with the 10 or so trophies that I got. But it's just that, there are other games that I want to get to. Plus VR.
But that's what I'm saying. So your time is like mine, right? Like
Yeah.
like we talked about. I mean, you have even more games at your disposal, but my time is already. I told people, why would I waste my time playing a game I'm not enjoying when I've got 150 games on hand that I really want to play?
Fact.
Innate pass, right?
Exactly. But man, boy, these people would be so happy to have that. I'm trying to tell you. Like, I mean, these people don't get it, man. And like I said, we all know in here, Weeb, like you said, you're never not juggling games. Viper, you're never not juggling games. Kay's been a good girl. Kay has been a very good girl. She tries not to juggle games, but we really bad influence on her. But she does pretty well. She's playing Hogwarts right now. She's sticking to it. But then when she goes home, she's got a couple things to try out on her PC and stuff like that. So it's like even Kay is becoming more and more curious about different genres and stuff and exploring, just hanging around us and hearing the passion and way we talk about some of these games. And she's experiencing new experiences within this. And that's what it's really all about. Like, people have this misconception of like, if you're critical of something, you hate it. And it's like, no, I have a criticism about it. I don't like the limitation on this, or I don't like, what I feel like. So like, I laughed when someone said, and Karaba said it earlier, which I've heard this so many times. I can't wait to see the possibilities of combos in Final Fantasy 16. And I'm like, well, there's 3 things on screen and he has 3 buttons, and like, you can do the math. Like, there's not some infinitesimal number of combos. Like, there's an actual finite number. Like, I know what people are saying, and they think it's great because it's like an automatic response when people see combo laden games. They're just like, oh man, I just feel like the combo potential is going to be insane, and it's like, yeah, but you probably won't hit that ceiling. That's the other thing, is like, a lot of people who are excited for this shit don't even have the skill to get to it, which is why you see people like, I forget the one guy's name, like Mika Games or something. I can't remember his name exactly, but the guy that always shows off that, he probably sells 100 copies of a game every time he plays it, and shows off.
Sunhill Legend.
Yeah, Sunny Legend. Yeah.
Oh man, he's a god at games.
Yeah. He always shows something beast mode.
He is on a level of his own. Like, I play games. I love gaming, but he respect to the dude. Like, he doesn't only play certain genres, he play all genres. So
Not only does he play them, but he masters them.
he perfects them. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I will never give that man shit, because I've played Sekiro, and that game is a bitch. And he has definitely put together some segments in Sekiro where I'm just like, it makes me want to play it, but I know better. Like, yeah, I've been there, done that. Like, nah, I'm gonna stick to liking this clip and retweeting it, and I'm gonna let you have it, and I'm gonna get back to playing the games that I
Stay in
enjoy.
your lane, huh?
Yep, I'm gonna stay right in my lane and leave that shit alone.
Leave it to the good guys, to not good guys, to the people that know what the fuck are they doing.
But to ask some of these people, you would swear they was all Sunny Legend out here playing action games. I was like, yo, get out of here. Like, half of y'all be rolling around like your life depends on it. I mean, because it does. In Elden Ring, looking like a flopped up seal. I was like hoping and praying that you don't get 2-shot. Like that's how most people play those games. Like
Mhm.
it's like, nah, man, y'all ain't out here like Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying, sliding through fucking, you know, invuln frames and doing all this shit. Nah, motherfuckers swear they smoother than ice water playing these games, and they just not. But yeah, like you said, man, ultimately, like we all gonna play it at the end of the day. I'm gonna get it just like Weeb gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? He probably gonna enjoy it more because I know Weeb likes him a little hack and slash in his life. Um, you know,
Character act,
huh?
character action. That's a genre, motherfucker.
There you go. There you go.
But
I
hey,
call it
look,
I just call it a spectacle fighter because that's what it looks like.
Mhm.
yeah, look. I enjoy the genre, but I'm also a huge turn-based RPG fan. So I mean, I
That's why I
totally
said you could have the converse. That's why I said you could have the conversation with us when a lot of these people can't because they don't know what the fuck they talking about.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you. These people who are capping for this, saying, "Oh yeah, it's so much better than turn-based," they're fucking idiots. I mean, turn-based is absolutely fantastic. So
Yeah.
they don't know what they're talking about, and a lot of like you hit the nail on the head, like with Valkyria Elysium. Like I played the demo, I wasn't impressed. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was
Mhm.
like was s- gameplay wise, it was solid in the sense that it was functional, but it
Yep.
was sort of boring as fuck, right? There was nothing exciting about it. Basically it's not character action. It's yeah, you might call that hack and slash, as in it's very simple, straightforward
It is.
gameplay that doesn't have any nuance or anything. It requires a certain level of um, uh, finesse in terms of also designing that kind of combat and having crazy combos and crazy weapons and crazy special attacks. Yeah, this ain't it, right?
Yeah.
So that's a game that would have been so much better if it was turn based, and there's so many, like you said, like there's definitely much more. But again, like I like I'm probably more of a checkers guy than a chess guy,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I enjoy turn based games, but and I generally don't really. It doesn't feel like you're really strategizing, but you are. But it's sort of a way, like it comes natural because you're used to it. Okay, you have, it depends on the game, but you have to stock up on potions. You have to keep your party healed. You have to figure out their weakness and attack them with that, and try to maybe stun them, or same with Octopath too. Like I played the
Mm-hmm.
demo. They like you have to figure out their weakness and have to try, like when they're charging up their super move. Like my
Exactly.
strategy immediately was like, okay, yeah, I have to stun them. I have to just attack their weakness right away, and that works, right? That works.
Yeah, it does.
You, you don't have to block everything, because that's yeah, that's going to be tedious as well if you try to do that. So, but you can do that. That's of course a viable, safe strategy. But again, it involves strategy, and but you could argue in the same way a character action game can also have strategy involved, depending on how it's designed, how enemies work. There can be enemies that require different types of techniques, weapons, and the time depends on the game. Like there's also there are games that really don't require you to block anything and require just time dodging. There's also games that require a lot of blocking, like which honestly is a weakness for me, because I'm used to character action games and generally just dodging. So
Mm.
when there's a game that actually requires you to block shit, it usually takes me a while to figure out. Oh yeah, I have a block button, so that's
Yeah.
why I always do.
Yeah. See, and I,
I
and, I, and
always love it when you
I'm
can
with you on
parry,
that. Yeah.
when you
Well,
can
I was
parry
gonna
and
say
block.
that's my thing. I prefer the ones with all the options. You can parry, you can
Mhm.
block, and you can dodge. Because
Mhm.
like I hate when they force you into one or the other. So
Yeah,
yeah, I agree.
but yeah, with Final Fantasy, I don't know, guys. I was not impressed from what I've seen.
Well,
And
then your choice is just to hold off and let the reviews come in. And if you're still
I
not
don't care about
convinced, then
reviews. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. This is day one. I
okay.
love the franchise. Like I have always loved the franchise. I'm gonna play it and judge it for myself. Especially me wanting a dark version uh, of the game of the what we call it genre. It's just I wish it was turn based. That's basically where my situation ends.
Now, see
It's
that's the thing I think that will do more for this one than the combat. Like I think people overestimate the popularity of this style of combat because, like I said, if that was the case, Devil May Cry 5 wouldn't have struggled to just barely hit 6.5 million in 4 years.
yeah, like
So I don't
Devil
think
May
that's
Cry
it.
what hit 5 mil.
6.5, they hit 6.5 million in 4 years. But like I said, in four
Congrats
years,
on
you have to keep in
PlayStation.
mind,
On how many consoles? Mind you, the previous consoles as well.
yeah, the previous
So
consoles as well, PC, all that, and then it's been cut as low as 15 or like 9.99 at some
get the
points.
fuck out of here with that shit. Sorry, Nate,
Well,
not to you, but
I could be mistaken, but I think the Yakuza 7 was the most successful one, and that was turn based. So
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was. Yeah,
yeah, so that absolutely. I mean, and look, it's absolutely not the combat or whatever. There are many factors involved to determine whether a game will be successful. So there's absolute bullshit and yeah, I totally agree with Yoshi. I mean, probably there's something lost in translation there, but
hmm
uh, if
what did Joshua P say? Can
he
someone
actually
explain
says
it?
yeah, I mean, it's something about JRPGs and that the re that yeah that the reason why he went for action combat, not that he didn't want it to be like a JRPG or something. I don't know.
yeah, he wanted
I
to
could be
try and basically get rid of the stigma that they
yeah, a
have.
stigma.
Yeah,
Yeah. Which is absolutely bullshit because what stigma? I
Stupid.
mean, yeah,
Yeah,
it
what's
is
the plan?
stupid.
yeah. But
I
like I
mean,
said,
and
Priscilla doesn't play them, right? She's
no,
never played a Final Fantasy. The only reason she's interested in this one has nothing to do with the combat. She just goes, "Oh, it's darker and there's blood and the dude doesn't look like a girl." That's literally that's
but
literally her thing. Oh, he's got facial hair.
but that's my reason too for this because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
totally don't care for what combat. I mean, I like both styles of combat
Yeah.
if it's executed well. But you know, if this was a turn-based game, I would have still bought it because and I like turn-based game, but it just looks interesting. It has nothing to do with the gameplay. So
Mhm.
you and I totally understand that you want to criticize it because it's not what you expect from Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
but also no reason to cap for it because it doesn't matter. And the thing is, like, as a fan of these kind of games, like if it indeed is like a character action game, I
Mhm.
like. I'll probably be more critical of it. I'll probably say, yeah, it's nice and all, but this isn't it. This is not what I expect from, like, it's not gonna reach the levels of Devil May Cry or Bayonetta.
Mhm.
Um, and I will have to take my enjoyment from the story, the setting, the characters, etc. More so than from the combat. Like if it didn't have that, it would probably be just a mediocre attempt to be like Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I agree that people who are just capping for the combat and saying that makes it so much better are stupid. I mean, that's absolutely an invalid opinion. I don't respect that at all. I mean,
Hmm.
every game should have the gameplay that it needs, right? I
Mhm.
think that's probably the best way to put it. 'Cause and you can enjoy every fucking style of game except for Soulsborne games because they're horrible and I won't ever play those games.
Mhm.
So Priscilla, are you gonna play Octopath Traveler 2 or 1? I think that's a difficult entry to start with. Would you agree, Nate?
It is. I definitely still
Some, something
more
like
right.
Persona 5
I
with that.
definitely still would recommend her to start with Persona 5 Royale. But right now, her new endeavor is going to be Ghost of Tsushima. So
Ooh, shout out to her for that one.
yeah, she's gets her first experience on PlayStation 5.
Let's go. Have fun. And maybe, just maybe, you're gonna play Spider-Man?
I mean, we'll have it.
Ooh.
So we'll see what she thinks by the time it gets ready to come out.
Especially with 2 on the horizon.
Hmm.
And with that being said, I think we have come to the end of the conversation.
Yep.
This was a great show. Shout out to everyone that came through. Let's get to our outro. And we start with Weeb. Where people can find you, man.
You can find me on Twitter as the Weep Sheriff at Infinite Rhizome and on YouTube as the Weep Sheriff, formerly known as Blue Rhizome. And yeah, Other Nation.
Okay, where people can find you. Oh, is she off?
I thought she just came back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Then
she got-
Viper. Yeah, she's gone. Viper. Oh, now that she is again. Where people can find you, okay? I think she is having a connection issue.
Mhm.
Viper,
Oh.
where people can find you? Oh, go ahead, Kay.
Jesus. Sorry, it wasn't picking up my mic for some reason. You can
Oh.
find me on Twitter at Kaylee1103, Otter Nation.
Other Nation.
Gotcha. Auto donation it is. Viper, where people can find you?
I can be found at Reap Viper on Twitter and Viper Reaps Corner on YouTube. Slithering back to my corner and Outer Nation.
Other Nation.
You.
Otter Nation.
You.
He said,
And lastly but not least, Innate, where people can find you.
Yeah, man. As usual, just on Twitter at the real innate. Again, keeping it gaming. Unlike a lot of these frauds out here who definitely not gaming. With a resume longer than their lifespan in these gaming streets, keeping it gaming. Also, because she's not here, I got to do it for her. Otter Nation for Morgan.
Shout out to Morgan, Chill Bandit. Shout out to Morgan, aka Chill Bandit. And as for me, people can find me at Carbon Discord Hub on Twitter. Great show. Oh yeah, Vitamin D podcast every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Shout out to the crew there. And yeah, great show. And see you next week.